The building regs in the UK, lots of people in the comments to my other videos really hate them. They probably make our buildings more expensive, and you could argue they make them uglier. But there's no getting around the fact they're there for safety reasons. Love them or hate them, I didn't create the system, don't have a go at me. But let's look at some examples on TikTok of where there don't appear to be the same kind of building regs as we have in this country, and we can argue the toss. This property is in Costa Rica, and I mean, there's no doubt that is really cool. You can walk right up to the edge, and but you could also fall over. In the UK, there would legally have to be a barrier there. I don't know if this complies with whatever regulations they have in Costa Rica. If anyone knows, let me know in the comments. No arguing the fact, for me, that looks a lot cooler than it would if it had a barrier there, but also more dangerous. And people keep saying, but you know, common sense. No one's going to fall over the edge of that. Well, where was the common sense in this particular case? Here we've got someone practicing their golf swing at a multi-story driving range. Whoops, there we go. Take the Isaac Newton Express to the ground floor. Bang. You know, you can argue common sense all day long, but the thing about common sense is it's not actually that common. This is another example. I don't know where this is from, but here we have what looks like wine store or cellar, and there's a big glass floor area that just hydraulically lifts up. Looks really cool, very innovative. Couple of problems with it from our point of view here is when that's up, there's no barrier here. You could just fall over the edge down there, bang your head. Also, if there's no other way out of this basement and the power goes and that thing slams shut, there's no way a person's going to lift that. It's made of glass and steel. It's extremely heavy. So you could get trapped down there in the event of a fire and no one might know. So you can see why we need regs. This is interesting. It's innovative, but also, when you think about it, quite dangerous. It is possible to create something like this safely that does comply with our building regs. They just need to tweak it a little bit. And then people get really annoyed at the idea that someone's going to come and inspect their home. They will argue, oh, but it's my house, I should be able to do whatever I want with it. And then you see stuff like this where someone's gone and done some DIY electrics and the radiator isn't properly earthed and is sparking away and shorting all the lights, and it doesn't even appear to be fused correctly. We need building regs because of muppets like this. And occasionally you see quite innovative and interesting ideas like this, but they kind of miss the point. Here you've got this contraption that goes out the side of a building and creates this fabric tunnel that lets you get out of it in the event of a fire. That's a great idea, but what it's actually doing is letting the designers of the building off the hook, because the building as designed ought to be safe for its occupants in the event of a fire. In this country, we use compartmentalization, whereby if a fire starts in one area, it should be contained in there. Of course, if you said everybody in Grenfell, if they had one of these, they'd have got out, that's probably not accurate, because people get scared, children get scared, you've got elderly, disabled people. They're not all going to be able to fit into something like this. The building as it's designed should be capable of being used by everybody who's in it, including anyone who can't just be assumed can jump into something like this. It's a bit like the argument that they should give everyone on a passenger aircraft a parachute. That won't work. It's just not going to function. So these sorts of out there engineered solutions, they're interesting, but they actually won't work in the real world, because you're dealing with real people in all their multifaceted variety, and some of them are just either not going to be willing to get into something like this or not physically able to get into something like this. There's no doubt about it. There are many aspects of the building regs in the UK that I have issue with, from how they are administered to the things that they focus on, and they do, without question, cause us to design things that could look better if they were done other ways, but our hands are tied. But you also see from a practitioner's point of view that this, yeah, it looks cool, and it's also obviously very blooming dangerous. Let me know what you think about that in the comments.